December 1996. Apple is dying. Their operating system is a decade old and falling apart. They need a replacement, fast. Apple's CEO, Gil Amelio, is negotiating to buy a small company called BeInc. Their product is called BeOS. It boots in 10 seconds. It plays multiple HD videos simultaneously without dropping a frame. Built from scratch, no legacy code, no compromises. Amelio offers $125 million. Be's CEO, Jean-Louis Gassée, says no. He wants $300 million. The gap is $175 million. Gassée doesn't move. Apple walks away. 3 weeks later, Apple buys Next instead, for $429 million. With Next comes Steve Jobs. Gassée saved Apple by asking for too much money. BeOS died anyway, but not for the reason you think. Gassée had been Apple's VP of product development. He left in 1990 and immediately started building the operating system he thought Apple should have made. BeInc, founded in 1991. 4 years later, they had BeOS and a machine to run it on, the BeBox. Dual PowerPC CPUs in 1995, when everyone else had one. LEDs on the front showing the load on each processor in real time, because they could. BeOS was designed for one thing, multimedia. Not as an afterthought, as the entire point. Every process ran independently, simultaneously. If one program crashed, the rest kept going. Boot time, 10 seconds. 6 HD video files playing at once, no slowdown. The file system was 64-bit and journaled when Windows was still on FAT32. Files worked like database entries, searchable by any attribute, instantly. It was technically better than anything available at the time, including Windows 95, including Mac OS, including everything. By 1996, Apple's own OS project, codenamed Copland, had collapsed. Nothing shippable after years of development. Apple looked at two options. BeOS, built for multimedia, made by ex-Apple engineers, already running on Apple hardware. Or Next Step, the OS Jobs had built after leaving Apple in 1985. Apple preferred BeOS. Fast, stable, familiar. Gassée wanted $300 million. Apple offered $125 million. Neither moved. Gassée later admitted he miscalculated. He thought Apple had no alternative. He was wrong. Jobs was waiting. Apple bought Next. Jobs came back. The rest is history everyone knows. What nobody talks about is what happened to BeOS after Apple walked away. Gassée's mistake didn't kill BeOS. Be pivoted. They ported BeOS to Intel and went to PC manufacturers. The pitch? Ship BeOS and Windows together, dual boot. Let users choose. BeOS didn't need to replace Windows. It just needed to exist alongside it. Compaq, Hitachi, Fujitsu were interested. Gassée offered BeOS for free to anyone willing to ship it. Then Microsoft said no. Not to Be. To the manufacturers. Microsoft's licensing agreements with PC makers effectively prohibited shipping any OS alongside Windows. If you wanted Windows and you needed Windows, you couldn't put BeOS on the same machine. Hitachi shipped a dual boot machine in Japan anyway. But Microsoft's terms required BeOS to be hidden, accessible only through a process most users never discovered. Be sued Microsoft in 2002. Settled for $23.2 million. By then, BeOS had been dead for a year. That settlement was less than 10% of what Apple had originally offered. Palm bought BeOS's assets for $11 million. They wanted the engineers, not the software. But BeOS didn't disappear. A community of developers rebuilt it from scratch. They called the project Haiku, after the constraint of doing more with less. Haiku still boots in seconds today, faster than Windows on the same hardware. Kept alive by people who believed the design decisions made in 1995 were simply correct. The ideas BeOS pioneered became standard everywhere. Pervasive multi-threading, journaling file systems, modern media AP is. Every major OS eventually adopted them, as prior art. The BeOS story has two villains. Gassée built something remarkable and overplayed his hand in the one negotiation that mattered. $175 million separated BeOS from becoming the foundation of Mac OS. He held firm. Apple walked. Microsoft didn't build something better. They made it illegal, in practice, for anyone to ship BeOS at all. Both things are true. Good technology can fail because of its creators' mistakes. And it can fail because a competitor with enough power decides it should. Neither failure has anything to do with the quality of the technology. Somewhere right now, Haiku is booting in under 10 seconds on hardware that takes Windows 2 minutes to start. People who weren't alive when BeOS launched are maintaining the code because they think the original design was right. They're probably correct. The world just already moved on.